listeners. Today we've got surf media outlets, workouts, some of our favorite surfers to watch. Those the topics they be on you.
Yeah.
Somebody's a little excited.
That was nuts, Joe. That was like a wrestling.
I've been real excited lately.
That was like Stone Cold Steve Austin or something. It was like you coming down out of the top ropes, just
Step into a Slim Jim.
eat me. All right, surf media outlets. Where do you boys consume your surf media? Bill?
Dude, I don't know.
Phil.
I would say mostly Graham now. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't.
What's the
I used to have.
Is that whalebone? What is that?
Whalebone. Yeah.
Oh,
Shout
nice.
out.
Cool. How'd they get our first shout out?
I would say I used to have like subscription or not subscriptions, but I would get emails from Inertia and Stab. I think I just stopped all that. And I think if they have a post, they put it on Instagram. So everything comes from Instagram. I just click on a link from that.
That's so real. That's just the realest. Like, it's just at the end of the day, it's just like everyone's Insta. I deleted my Insta probably 5-6 months ago. I didn't miss it at all. But now we created the Yewwtoob Insta. And
You are a liking maniac.
now I'm just back. I got re-addicted within moments.
Gotta be careful.
It's bad, man. I mean, it's cool now. Like we said, like it's sort of this shared account. It's kind of anonymous, and being that it's a brand for us, and our brand is like not being necessarily the best surfers. There's less pressure. Like I don't feel like a kook if I'm going on all these random and being like on Tanner Gadot. That is what
We're even strong today.
dude. I wish you could send voice notes and comments. On
I've
Instagram.
always wanted to be able to just shout out some views on some sick
That's a great
content.
idea.
Imagine like you're like fucking
Leave us some voice
John
notes.
John. Imagine you're John and like you're going through your Instagram comments and it's a noise and it's just like
Dude.
you.
Imagine what Neymar's influenced Brazilians would have been saying to Caio Abelli.
Oh my god.
We wouldn't understand it.
He thought the DMs were bad.
Just
Imagine
so
the
many
voice notes. Oh shit.
So many difficult to understand Portuguese curse words.
Hey, if anybody wants to send us voice notes, send it at youtube.com. Send us some voice notes via email.
I don't think you can do that.
Sure you can. What, can you really not do that? Like send an audio file?
No.
Really?
Well, not on the contact form.
Really?
We got a contact form.
Oh,
on the
it's a
website.
contact form.
All right.
Yeah.
Can you do it in Insta? Maybe in a DM?
It's a great question.
That would be the go.
All right, viewers,
We
look
don't
into
have
that. I mean, if you're
access to it,
enthusiastic and you want to hoot some views at us, feel
Yeah,
free.
that would be sick.
We would love
Let's
that.
let's do something. Maybe next episode.
Yeah, we'll figure out
Whoever has the
We're gonna do a
dopest
giveaway
you-
eventually.
yeah.
Oh, we're gonna record whoever sends in the best you.
Yeah, and they're
put
gonna
it-
get some host
We're gonna
Stevie
shout
shit.
out and attach it to the front of the episode.
Yeah, maybe host Stevie will partner with us on that one.
Yeah, get them some host Stevie stuff.
Yeah.
Ty, you got to get some host Stevie
I know.
stuff
Let
first.
me get it first. I got to change. It's freezing out. I'm still changing the old-fashioned way in like a big dumb beach towel.
You don't even use it. You just get you
Yeah.
basically get naked on the street with
do.
your towel like wrapped around like your lower back.
I do. Yeah. I don't even wrap it because like wrapping it is tough too. You're like because then like you got it wrapped here and then like pulling your wetsuit up or down for that matter is difficult. So I just put my towel over me like this, like the hunchback of Notre Tube.
You do that. Well, I got host Stevie to thank for my changing cloak, dude. I'm stoked to try it out. I'll let you borrow mine, Ty.
Yeah.
Muchas gracias, ho.
And you know what I'm pretty stoked about too is that he sent us those mats.
Yeah.
Because my biggest complaint about changing was the cold concrete.
Did he hear that or no? That was just coincidental.
Ho, Stevie, thanks a lot.
All right,
Appreciate it.
Yeah, we'll post a link to his website on our website.
That's sick.
/ shout him out on the Grammington.
on the YouTube without the Ew.
Host Stevie like hooked it up. Our first hooked up supporter. He's coming with us to the top.
Yeah.
Or maybe he'll take us with him.
Hop on board, ho.
So obviously, right, Instagram is a great source of like finding content in like initially.
It's cool that it's direct. Like it's just the surfer putting out their shit. Although I guess maybe not necessarily, it could be curated, but it's not like it doesn't get muddied by whatever producer or whoever's opinion. Yeah, it's just that it's a direct link to that person.
Right.
I mean, that's what I was listening to that Coco Ho podcast. That's what she was saying. Like, it's super nice that she has full control over sending out what she wants. And that's not all surfers though. Like some people do have companies or something managing and they schedule their posts and everything. I think one person that's hilarious on Instagram is Sally Fitz.
Really?
I know, you seem to love her. You're always sending us stuff.
No, it's just so like, much ads. I love my almond breeze.
Clearly marketing.
Yeah. It's like, you know how I really get around is Audi. It's so great. It's like, oh, okay.
It's every post. It's like, she probably hates Instagram. She's like, I'm just going to use it for all these ads.
I feel like Matt Miola is kind of the same way. Yeah. Like if you look at Matt Miola's Instagram, he's like, and here's a product placement energy drink.
Yeah, Monster.
You know, I think the Monster's a lot like that across the board.
He also, I feel like, is only, I don't know who else he has. I feel like Monster's one of his biggest sponsors, so he probably has to do a lot of the Monster stuff.
Yeah. Well, so all right, so here's my question for you then, because I do not find most of my content through Instagram. Okay. Most of the viewing I do is not like reserved for strictly Instagram. I like to find stuff on Instagram and then like click the link actually and like go in, and because I like to try and figure out where they're surfing if a wave seems interesting. But like I don't know. Do you guys still watch like full length surf features?
Well, we just watched a bunch while we were here trying to get our tech set up today. I mean, there aren't full length ones, but I watch whatever length they give us these days, which is like generally like 10 to 15 minutes most.
Yeah.
Like I just watched, there's that Thank You Andy thing on Stab. I mean, I love Stab in the Dark. It's just awesome. Like what a cool concept. And it's pretty interesting that no one ever did that before, by the way. But yeah, I mean, pretty much just Stab, Surfline. I actually didn't realize there was like Maneuvers of the Year, and it had Julian and a bunch of cool shit. And then when I didn't watch it because I was in the middle of something, and then today I just went back to try and find it again, and I realized it was Surfer, which I don't go to Surfer Mag.
Surfer Mag anymore?
Yeah, I don't go to Surfer Mag. I just go to Stab. But that was a pretty cool thing by Surfer. I mean, generally, I'm just Stab and Surfline. I'm trying to get into Beach Grip because I've been really into David Lee Scales podcast.
Yeah.
And I've never been a Beach Grip guy. I never did it. Like Stab seemed to have everything I needed for content.
Do you guys like the Inertia?
Yeah, I feel like they're Insta heavy, and with my getting off Insta, I've like been missing it.
Yeah,
I think they used to be better. Like when they first started, I think it was much more original, and then they just came into like mass getting out as much content as possible.
I don't really know what. It's interesting. It seems like a lot of the content is all kind of just like those clips that are too long for Instagram, but like, and they're like, I don't know, maybe more. I don't know what the right way to describe them as, like more legitimate, like too legit for Instagram. I feel like you find them on things like Surfer Mag, or well, Stab more so because it's just like displayed there well for you. You kind of know, like if you want to go watch something, if you click on Stab or like you seek Stab out away from Instagram through stabmag.com, you'll find pretty interesting stuff daily. Surfer Mag, if you go to surfermag.com, it's kind of like pretty recycled. It kind of can be stuff that you'll find on Stab. The Inertia is kind of like the same way. I feel like Beach Grit Ty, I think, is a little more I don't really visit the site. I've tried a few times. I think it's a little bit more like
It's like
opinionated, I guess.
Yeah, it's like drama, and it's like the E. It's like the E or Bravo
TMZ.
of surfing. Yeah,
Yeah.
Which is like what Chaz says it is. Like he's not. He says that, but like that he's just trying to sow discontent and like trying to be really opinionated. It's for people who like that stuff.
Yeah, and I agree with you, and I don't think it's like a bad approach at displaying,
it can be funny.
Displaying surf media. I think like Stab is kind of like a one. If you're going to type one
One-stop
thing,
shop.
Type in one thing to your search bar. If you go to Stab, you'll pretty much find what you're looking for. But I'm a big fan. Well, I constantly find myself going to the WSL and trying to watch something interesting on the WSL's like from a WSL production, and it's a shame. Like, you know, like I enjoy watching like the contest stuff, but like I don't enjoy watching like recaps all that much if I've seen what's exciting in the events. But like I don't know, like if you NFL Films or like some of these like larger scale production companies, like I don't know any of them off the top of my head, like these specific like series that they do, but like the WSL could improve so much on making series. And I find myself going back to the WSL's app or the website and like crossing my fingers that I'm going to find something new. And I never find anything new.
Yeah.
But where I do find good content is Red Bull TV on that app. And Red Bull TV is sick for like full length, full series content. Yeah. Like you have like the funny shit like Who's J.O.B., which is pretty entertaining to watch. But then you also find things like Julian Wilson's is he All In? Well, All In has been a series that's existed for a while, but then like Julian Wilson's got a series and there's No Contest. Which is also a pretty good series about tour stops. They seem to have dropped the ball.
That's Stab.
Well, it's Stab and Red Bull.
Oh.
Okay. And they air it like full length on Red Bull TV. Why doesn't the WSL do like a longer tour notes? Tour notes is really good on Instagram's, like I don't know, what's the longest Instagram video you can have?
I think you can just do Insta
TV, IGTV.
Like unlimited.
It's unlimited. Much. Why don't they do like, do you guys watch Tour Notes?
Yeah.
Tour Notes is awesome. But how come we can't see like 40 minutes of Tour Notes?
Snake Tales.
Snake Tales is good.
Yeah.
But I think Red Bull TV is really good because Red Bull spends a lot of money sending their athletes to do some really interesting projects. And then you get it for free on the app. You can go watch the full length features. And it's pretty, it is interrupted with Red Bull commercials and whatever. They, put the money in to justify that kind of stuff. But I get a lot out of Red Bull TV. It's got all the surfers I want to watch.
It's pretty crazy that like it's just Red Bull.
Right.
That company has become one of the best.
They're media. They're just like
content marketing, pumping out that stuff.
Media house.
Have you seen
Red Bull Media House?
Have you seen that there's certain arenas in the NBA where Red Bull like has replaced Gatorade is like really? the drink supplier. If you watch the Brooklyn Nets, they're sitting on Red Bull chairs now courtside, like the players.
Damn. It is weird. Like how much money do they make off of the production? I mean, do people actually drink Red Bull? I don't know anyone who drinks Red Bull.
Same.
Yeah, my job's pretty blue collar. I work with like say a dozen guys.
They all pound Red Bull.
They slam monsters. They love it. They love it. So there's people out there drinking Red Bulls.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not like a good study of that. I mean, everyone I know is like health conscious and like.
Right. Well, when we go fishing, if we leave the dock at like 4 a.m. and don't plan to get back till 7 p.m.
Yeah.
There's usually like a few Red Bulls on the boat.
You can't bring like a coffee machine, right? Like,
right. So and generally try and bring the sugar-free
iced coffee. I guess
you could bring iced coffee.
Yeah.
And that would hold
Red
up.
Bull's easy. Yeah, I don't know.
Especially in the winter. That'd be really nice.
Yeah.
Cold.
No, but I mean, Red Bull's cold too. You're not gonna drink. It was a heat up Red Bull.
How about is there any good
Red Bull Fuego?
Is there any good like is Whalebone a local media outlet?
Yeah, out of Montauk.
I know, but do they like if you go to their website? do you get? I mean, I'm sure our New York listeners would be like, "How do you not look at Whalebone?" But like, I'm not into like the grit Whalebone type kind of presentation, I guess.
They have great content. But yeah, so they make the magazine. I think that's more where
Their
they
website
push their content.
Yeah, their website doesn't have any like videos or anything. Doesn't look like.
It's not. I don't think it's really an online media outlet as much as. Although they do post like
Print.
Their Instagram's great. I don't
Is
know
it?
who does
Yeah.
it. But
Yeah.
yeah.
And
Their
Whalebone is,
magazine's super cool.
What's his name? The
Jesse.
longboarder guy from
Jesse Jockle.
No, he's not. He's re-rips.
No,
Proper.
What's the longboard dude's name from Long Island who is like a Montauk, Brooklyn? He's like a Brooklyn transplant from Montauk. Mikey DeTemple. Isn't he a Whalebone partner?
Maybe they have like a bunch of people that I think like contribute.
I'd be very surprised if he wasn't. He got the wild card invitation for the WSL longboard event that happened up in Long Beach this year.
Yeah.
I think he did pretty well too. He's a good surfer. I've surfed with him in Nicaragua. He was pretty. I mean, he was getting very tubed on like a kind of like a mid-length. It was cheating. I mean, he was sitting like 15
Way out the
yards out
back.
past
Yeah.
all of us and just getting every wave. And little Johnny was not happy about it.
You know whose stuff I love? Visla, the creators and innovators. I feel like it's so different than all of the other content. There's good like story behind it. The people are super interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Like the stuff they do with Cliff Capono. I love all that info. Because I think it's more than just here's a dude getting tubed.
Yeah, I'd like to spend more time looking at Visla's. I mean, they sponsor and they provide the like the ability financially to a lot of like filmmakers and surfers who want to do interesting projects. They spend a lot of money as like a relatively small surf company to sponsor artists like that, which I think is pretty cool. And they have a lot of like interesting surfers to watch on their team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, isn't Cam?
Yeah, Cam's Visla. We're campaigning again.
There he is.
You got him right there?
Yeah.
Are we looking at it?
On the Visla website.
Is that on? So the viewers are seeing that?
Corey Colapinto.
Corey?
What? I thought it was Crosby and Griffin. Oh, yeah, there is a third one.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mr. Colapinto's stoked.
He's just like,
He's probably stoked because Mrs. Colapinto is probably hot.
It's not out of the question.
Shout out.
Yeah, so I mean, it's been I used to love when I was younger, like Tyler, like remember we used to like just like sit and watch like September Sessions and Shelter and
September Sessions.
all of these films that came out in like the early 2000s, and like you'd fall asleep to it at a
Taylor
sleepover.
Steele.
We'd fall asleep to it when you wake up in the morning and the soundtrack would be on from the DVD menu.
Yeah.
And like those were really good times to really view surf films like in their entirety. It's like, it's a shame. I don't think it's a shame. I just struggle to find full length films that I'd be interested in watching. I mean,
well, think about it. I mean, and before Instagram, you weren't getting that content every morning when you wake up, and every time you go to bed, like you were out searching for that content because you weren't getting it. We get it every 5 minutes you check your phone.
Yeah,
right?
and the grit they just had one of the
Surf Film
editors
Festival?
from Surfer's Journal, and he was just saying how it's just too much content. He's like
he's over it.
Scott Hewlett. He was just like it's too much content, which that's kind of, there's something to be said there. Like for what you're saying too, Phil, is like seeking out good content versus just getting bombarded with it. But generally, I mean, it's all good. I would like to bring back Intersection.
The Intersection was cool as hell.
I feel like, and now that people have it's even easier to like film yourself and have it either be professional production quality, like almost anyone can get a drone. Like you're talking like a couple grand. Which is a lot of money, but it's not like you don't have to make a $50,000 production and you could have a really sick video. And that would be a cool way to bring, and that's because that's just clips of each person, but it equates to a larger
length
film.
Yeah.
I mean, so you guys all, I don't know what happened if like I wasn't around or something, but like you guys all got super into Modern Collective.
What youth too?
I just like missed Modern Collective, and I ended up watching it like way later. But then I got really into Dear Suburbia, which is the next Kai Neville movie, and it's like that's the one with like John Dane and Yaden in Japan.
Yeah.
And
yeah, that's an epic part of that movie.
It's ridiculous, but to me, the most ridiculous part about that was like John was on a different level, like than Dane Reynolds. Like he served Dane Reynolds like into the dirt, like which is absurd to say, but it really like if you watch that, he's way deeper, gets tubed way longer, he's doing sicker stuff,
he's surfing way fast.
Yeah, he's just. I mean, it's just really weird. I mean, it's like Yaden is sick. He's kind of got like a Hawaiian style like stink bug sort of, which is weird. But I mean, Yaden's an insane surfer. Dane Reynolds is one of the best surfers of all time. And then John, you watch him, you're like, whoa, he's just different. He's just better than all. And it's crazy.
So like, what was the last thing you saw from Kai Neville?
Yeah, that Dear Suburbia.
Probably.
Is the last thing?
I think that's the last movie he did.
What about Lost Atlas?
Pretty sure Dear Suburbia is newer than Lost Atlas.
All right, so Lost Atlas was after Modern Collective. But like, so here's the thing, right? Like we watched all these films, but at any period of time, you buy them on iTunes or whatever. Where can we go see? And I don't know, maybe he's like lost interest in creating films because he's
here,
like,
KaiNeville.com. Let's see.
And it's just
Lost
straight to
Atlas was 2011.
Dear Suburbia is newer than that for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Was he Strange Rumblings or was that Joe G?
Oh,
because that's pretty recent. Is that the girl with the boobs and the
Shangri-La?
donuts?
Strange Rumblings and Shangri-La.
That was Dear Suburbia.
Hey, you with the donuts, let me see them boobies.
Strange Rumblings, was that kind
Greetings from Shangri-La or Strange Rumblings in Shangri-La?
Yeah.
I don't know if that was a Globe Joe G thing or if that was Kai Neville.
What was the other?
I think it was a Globe film.
That's the Volcom one? No.
It's Globe.
There was a Psychic Migrations was really sick.
Yeah.
That was a really good movie. That was gnarly.
So you know what I watched?
Gleason was in that, right?
Yeah, Balaram and
Moniz.
and
Carlos, right?
and Callie Moniz, yeah.
Yeah, that was a sick film. You know, it's I just my question is like, okay, like if you go on to like where do we find just holding it? Is that a furless?
Ty's just getting deep into his computer.
Yeah, he's over here looking at porn.
The girl, the Dear Suburbia, the girl who Kai Neville. Oh, this is all his films. Oh, he did Bending Colors. Wow. So this is okay. So he's done a lot. He's done a couple other things, but
so there's KaiNeville.com, right?
Yeah. So he did Bending Colors, which is that Geordie movie, which I had no clue he did that. Then Modern Collective, Lost Atlas. Although I don't know if these are in chronological order.
So maybe what makes sense is to find a filmmaker that you like and just pay really close attention to their personal website.
I mean, I kind of feel like I do that with Brett Barley, YouTube content.
Right.
Because I, to be honest, I'm exhausted by the amount of content. It's all great, but it's just so much that I'd rather not.
Fairly recent. Sorry, Phil. But
I'd rather not look at like too much and just get it from the people that I want.
Yeah. I guess.
Oh no! But now he's doing like this. Yeah. See, I mean, this is what it is. He's doing a Corona thing and an IWC, which is a watchmaker. Like that's how these guys have to make money. So,
right.
I mean, this was, we're getting a bit off the rails, but like the Ashton, Chaz battle that they had on Surf Splendor where they fought
for our listeners, right? Is this worth a backup story?
Yeah.
Two of the most like powerful people in social media.
Ashton Stab
is Ashton.
And Chaz is the Grit.
Ashton Goggins.
Yeah.
Who's the editor-in-chief of Stab Magazine, which is an Australian-based surf publication. And then there's Chaz Smith, who is the editor-in-chief of Beach Grit, which is a U.S. surf publication. Now they both cover the same content, largely, because there's only, like the important stuff comes in and they both cover it daily, like on their websites. And I think the most important part of the backstory, aside from who they are, is that at one stage, pretty much everybody in the surf industry has worked like for Chaz Smith, kind of, because he's been at so many surf publications, whether it be Surfer Magazine, and I don't know exactly where he has been, but I believe they had Ashton work for Chaz and then got the job offer to go be the editor-in-chief of Stab Magazine. And Chaz was pissed because maybe he was like jealous or upset that Ashton Goggins had an opportunity to go do something bigger than what Chaz Smith was doing.
Yeah.
All right. So
anyway, so that's the backstory. A bit of background, and then they've been at war. Like they're constantly launching grenades at each other. More so the Grit making fun of Stab and making fun of Ashton. But anyway, so they like fought during this podcast, like physically,
literally
like,
fought.
Like one of them smacked the other one like choked him. But so my only reason for going into this was that Ashton gives Chaz a bunch of shit because he says, well, Chaz says this is surf journalism. Like this is not serious and you shouldn't expect to make any money from this. And then Ashton's like, dude, that's a terrible thing to put out there because then people aren't going to want to be surf journalists. And then like the Stabs of the world aren't going to get created. It's just like the natural marriage between capitalism and marketing and content. And what I think is because we were just going through Kai Neville's website and like he's got a bunch of stuff that's like super commercial, like IWC watches and Corona. And it's just like at the end of the day, that's what he's got to do to make money. And I mean one of my biggest takeaways from that too is like apparently Chaz's wife is rich. And like, not to get into it, but like that's what Ashton was saying. He's like, "Well, dude, easy for you to say.
You're just comfortable because you're married to somebody who's got money." And then that's when he attacked him across the table.
But meanwhile,
we should fight.
But meanwhile, it is a thing. Like you've got to figure out a way to make money, and you've got to figure out a way to produce cool content, and that's a tough, nearly impossible thing to do. I think Stab's doing a good job of it. I mean. Clearly, they're getting big sponsors like Red Bull and Vans and whoever else, and doing really cool shit like Stab in the Dark.
They really are the most collaborating, probably because they have the means via the funds, because they have the viewership, which generates advertising dollars. But like they definitely do the most interesting collaborations, like Stab in the Dark is really good. Electric Acid Surfboard Test is even really good. The Doc has been really popular.
Oh, the Doc. Oh my God.
The
Doc is hectic.
Stab really does develop some really good content via collaborating with whether it be like Red Bull or whoever.
I think growing up, I was Surfer Mag.
I was for sure Surfer Mag.
I had a subscription. I have hundreds of old Surfer Mags. And then I think as the .com thing started to happen, I was surfermag.com.
Yeah.
And then, they just seem to have dropped off and Stab took over. The Grit, again, is more for like Beach Grit is more like journalism. And like sort of a farcical, dramatized
almost. Yeah.
But,
I think that's where like Whalebone is trying to jump back into that Surfer Mag type.
Yeah.
And dude, the content they got like with Kelly and what's his name? Comedian. Bill Murray. That was amazing. The Bill Murray issue.
I haven't seen that. Dude. That's it's a Whalebone?
Dude, Whalebone, yeah.
But it's only a magazine, right? Yeah. They had some stuff on Instagram.
Yeah, Instagram, but then I think it was the content was all in the magazine.
Print, yeah.
See, I view Whalebone more like a What Youth, right? Like What Youth was the print media publication. I think they did it. I think they still do it quarterly, and it's. I was always under the impression. I think I just kind of missed the boat with Whalebone while I was away. To me, What Youth. Well, what Youth is a Kai Neville collaboration with a few other like friends, and they produce this like artistic style.
Coffin Bros?
No.
No,
It was like Craig Anderson, Chippa.
it's kind of like what Former is now. What Dane Reynolds is doing with Former, where it's like a platform for them to be expressive. But I think What Youth Now is strictly reserved for print media.
Okay.
You know, like just trying to save print media in their own. It's like an art. It's basically art. I thought that's what Whalebone has been trying to do. I'm just not that familiar with it. I'm glad that we're mentioning it because now I have something to check out. Like, I just never, I was going to say, like, do we have any like decent, like mid-Atlantic, Northeast, New York, New Jersey, media outlets? And I guess Whalebone is.
Yeah, for sure. I would say they're the
In
biggest.
print, they're print
Northeast.
only though. That's right.
I mean, there's some online content, but not
But it's
heavy.
only the
mostly
gram.
like
It's not.
Instagram,
I'm on their website and it's just a shop. There's no content.
Like,
Or hang on, there's a blog section. Whalebone Surf Shop.
But I mean, it's
blog.
hard. Like you were saying, business marketing wise, it's hard to make it like that. Like the guys that made Dark Fall,
DeFilippo.
Fin
like they put
Puller.
out great movie, but
need
then
this.
they got to shoot commercials in like Atlantic City and stuff. They have to do stuff to live around here, which is,
Not cheap.
commercials and not surfing.
Yeah. Yeah. So right. I'm still like struggling to figure out where I'm going to watch full length features of like the latest stuff. I guess from what I've learned recently, almost the thing to do is to go to a website like the Florida Surf Film Festival's website, look at their award-winning surf films because they do it quarterly there, and then go seek them out through Vimeo or something like that. I recently watched the one about who's the South African guy, Frank Solomon. Who is Frank Solomon, or who's Frank?
Yeah.
And that's on. I actually watched that on Red Bull
Is
app.
that good?
It was really good. It was really interesting. There wasn't that much surfing. It was probably 80% storyline and like kind of like how like Taj Burrow used to do his movies with like funny things in between surfing.
Montage?
Yeah, like montage and fair bits, like when they were really popular. How
Fair Bits is so good.
how like he had like little skits in between the surf sections of the films. In this movie, in What About Frank, it's a lot of the film is the story. And then like there's like bits and pieces. They basically like tell Frank Solomon's story orally,
Like life story.
narrated by John. Well, it's John speaking it, but somebody else actually narrating it. It's interesting if you watch it. And then like, yeah, there's clips of him surfing here and there and there and there. And there may be like a total of like 15 minutes of surfing in a 50-minute film. So, but the stuff it's really beautifully filmed. It's really good. The soundtrack's good.
Is it like Blake Vincent Cooney?
No,
Because he
is that
did
who
like
made
View
it?
from a Blue Moon.
That's not who made it.
Like that cinematography is incredible. in that.
Yes, yeah, must have had a nice budget for that one.
Yeah.
I don't know if he did. I mean, it was just him, right?
Who
Blake.
for John?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You would think Hurley would have kicked in some dough.
Yeah, probably.
for sure, right? Just to make it possible.
Mhm.
But I don't know. So like,
That's like the Wedge and Lever Productions. I don't know. We should do a little more research, probably.
well, really, this is. I mean, for me, I like those for full length films. I like finding soundtracks from surf movies. I really enjoy that, and I think what a lot of people who like in other arts, right? People just like keep an eye on an artist, not so much like a content display. Right. So I think what's really interesting is what I'm going to do is just go to those things like the Florida Surf Film Festival. I'm going to look at the award-winning films and, just start paying attention more to directors and their personal websites.
Or for art, people follow or go to the same gallery for there and to find new artists because it's curated. And that's kind of like what you're saying with like the Surf Film Festival. Like if you like what those guys are curating, then you can follow them. Yeah. And then from there, branch off into different specific directors, producers, or I guess surfers for that matter. But you feel like you can do that already on Instagram.
I agree. And then the other surf media outlets that we've got these days are podcasts, which which we've discussed it quite a bit about other podcasts. I mean, you know, it's relevant.
Look, I mean, we were just talking Kai Neville, and like I would have not. I don't know why. I wouldn't have found this otherwise, but I don't get.
Well, because when you're on film, you're looking at your computer. It's like you're talking to your computer.
No, but I'm just saying, like, look, the reason being, this is what we're discussing is Kai Neville. If you go on KaiNeville.com, he's got a bunch of media content that I don't think that I had seen otherwise. Like he's got this thing right here that I'm going to watch when this is over. That's Craig Anderson looks to be on that Canon single fin. Like it looks entertaining. And I don't think that I have seen this. It's
right. There's side projects.
Yeah. It's on Vimeo. It's a staff pick on Vimeo, and it's called The Quieter You Are, The More You Can Hear. And it's Craig Anderson, directed by Kai Neville. So this is interesting. I mean, glad we're talking about this.
Because you found that. It's almost like it's like a bottomless pit.
It is.
There's so much B-roll that is still cool that like it'd be silly for Kai Neville not to assemble like watchable B-roll footage, you know?
Yeah.
And like where it could take you anywhere.
We talked earlier too about I think before the podcast about like surfing's role in mass marketing outside of the surf community. And we talked about how Kelly Slater has the Breitling thing.
Huge.
We talked about what else did we talk about?
Target, American Express.
Oh yeah, like there was a layered surfing Jaws thing,
Layered.
and it was a Amex ad. And now I'm seeing like Kai Neville has IWC, which is another watch company.
Yeah.
And he's doing some content, and it shows people building boards, and it's about how like surfboard shaping is like similar to like watchmaking. I think from what I gather, but I mean that's you know it's always been a thing. I mean you look at
it's so cool.
Like
surfing is so cool to the non-surfer. Like it appeals, right? Like it has marketing leverage or advertising leverage because it's like, generally speaking, good-looking people in good-looking destinations doing like a healthy activity that like everybody should strive for.
Yeah.
Right.
Dude, yeah. That's like anywhere I go travel and live at, people will come, and even if they take a surf lesson and haven't surfed, they make sure they get a pic on the beach holding it.
Sure.
Come on, I got to share this.
It's the worst.
So, I mean, we were talking about before we started the podcast. It's like surfing as a marketing tool is almost like bigger than surfing.
Yeah. Well, but that's the other
100%.
thing.
Right? Like we opened up that app to try and like, we were doing some pre-production, like, test runs and stuff, and we opened up that one app and it was like totally unrelated to surfing, and there was Julian Wilson like getting tubed and doing an alley-oop on like as the background of this app.
Yeah.
And you're like, all right, well, I mean, Philly, that one, I guess there's kind of an asterisk next to that, but like that happens 10 times a day and other things.
I don't know if there's an asterisk other than just that live stream is used to stream what I saw was like news in what looked to be like Saudi Arabia or something, and random content. They pick surfing because it's the best looking thing. It's like other than like skydiving, it's like
my head's gonna explode.
It's the coolest looking thing.
My fucking head's gonna explode because it's like, all right, here's. Is Julian Wilson on the background because surfing's this cool as hell thing and it's marketing? It's a very appealing thing to the public, or is it because like they're listening?
No. I
hate to throw a wrench in our spokes here, but like,
no.
Is it?
Maybe we just have to be honest. We're the best looking, coolest people on the face of the planet.
It's true. Look at the stash.
But yeah, it's there's no doubt that surfing is the potential of marketing using surfing
endless
is bigger than surfing itself, right?
Yeah, I would 100%.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, but in college, I went to a landlocked college. Stupid idea on my part.
Well,
but
that's why you got through it, probably.
yeah, no. So
I would not have finished college if I went to school on the coast.
But I had all these kids for a couple years, probably. Our pre-games would be us watching surf movies.
Yeah, because the soundtracks are epic.
Soundtracks were sick. And all these kids who didn't surf, who didn't live near the ocean were like, holy shit, this is so entertaining. Like, they loved it. Like we watched Craig Anderson's part in Intersection like every night before going out for like a year. Just to get pumped up.
You also love to have control over the music in a party environment.
I do, absolutely.
It's like one of the Tyler.
I'm like a DJ Nazi.
Everyone's like, "Oh, good, Tyler's got the freaking."
If I walk into a bar and there's a jukebox, chucking quarters.
I mean, luckily you're good at it.
It's pretty decent.
Yeah. People generally like the tunes. I mean, if my music was terrible and I tried to do that all the time, I'd get castrated. Yeah. So I think it works out in the end. But I mean, look, this is something we should continue to explore, do more research on.
Have some numbers and some facts and some figures.
Yeah, some figurines probably.
Totally, just little things on the table.
I mean, clearly there's good figures. They're using these people as advertising and marketing. They have good figures.
Oh, pun intended. Very good. Very good.
But let's stay on it, and let's talk about.
Wait, recap for our listeners. Media outlets. We like Stab. The Beach Grit's out there. Check it out if you like it. Good on you. It's got some good stuff.
If you're into writing, satire, reading a lot, that's
so much arithmetic.
Yeah, that's Beach Grit. If you're into just content and videos, entertainment and surfing, watching surfing, Stab. If you're into.
I wish I could say
Surfer's
that I looked at the Surfer's Journal.
Talked about, yeah.
I know. I actually think about it like multiple times a week. I have to subscribe. I mean, it's an art. You know, it's one of those sorts of publications if and when it does like finish, you're like, damn, I wish I had every issue of the Surfer's Journal. You know, it's like a wine cellar.
I think MJ does.
It's literally like a wine cellar. It's just going to get more valuable, and it's beautiful work. It's like, I don't know, how much is it to get a subscription like delivered to your house? You see? I don't know, but it's really quality stuff. I wish I had more to talk about with the Surfer's Journal because I should spend more time checking it out.
Yeah, I don't want to paint it in the incorrect light, but what I think of it at first pass is that it's a lot of longboarding and retro stuff and history, and that's why I think it hasn't occurred to me, as something that would entertain me because it's not performance shortboard oriented. But look, I think, like you said, it's more refined. We should probably get a subscription, if nothing else, than to analyze beautiful. It. Yeah, that too. I just popped on their website. They're sponsored by everybody you would think of: Hurley, Patagonia, Rainbow, Yeti, and Vans.
Right. Those are progressive companies.
Yeah. And some watch companies.
All right. Well, if you guys in the audience have any recommendations to shoot our way, we'd be stoked to get some new media outlets.
What about, did Eastern Surf Mag close down?
I think Eastern Surf Mag went only digital and then just to Instagram.
Yeah, most likely.
All right.
All right, moving on. Let's get into working out. Ty, you had a workout this morning. How was it? What'd you do?
I generally I work out at like my cousin's gym, and I mean, I used to do a lot more yoga and which I always thought that, a lot of surfers talk about yoga and how it's good because it's flexibility, a lot of your hips.
You're on film.
And this is what a lot of podcasters do. They're on their computer looking stuff up as they podcast.
I make eye contact.
No, that's what young Jamie does.
I make eye contact with the camera.
Well, that's weird.
I did it before, didn't I, Phil? I was talking to it like this.
Joe Rogan's different because he's just always him interviewing one person.
So you work, Ty,
Anyway.
you work out, right? You'd work out regardless of surfing.
Yeah.
Phil, do you do much working out?
I do like just calisthenic, kind of more.
Is that because you're
push-ups.
old?
No, it's more because I travel a lot and like
He's old.
I don't get that.
I'm the same age.
It just sounds like an old person thing to
No,
say.
so like something that fucked with me a lot was when I traveled around. Like if I was back here, I could go to the gym, like get in like football shape. But if I went somewhere else in the middle of Indonesia or South
Football
Africa or
shape.
something,
Mhm.
jacked, I could kick your ass. But like if you go somewhere and then you don't have equipment and you don't know what to do, like you fluctuate super hard with your like physical body shape. So it's kind of hard to it affects your surfing for sure.
Right.
So I kind of just stick to the same bare bones stuff that I could do anywhere.
Push-ups, sit-ups.
Push-ups, sit-ups,
Pull-ups
like
if you got
lunges,
something.
like all
Yeah.
that type of stuff.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much what my workouts consist of. Like I said, I used to do a lot more yoga. A lot of surfers say that it's good. I haven't been doing it as much because I moved and there's just not as many good yoga studio. There's like not a good yoga studio. But I try to do like if I'm doing weights, I try to go like lightweight and just do a lot of reps. Pretty much like everything I do is like trying to simulate like paddling or surfing in general. Like my gym just got the ski erg machine, which is like this thing. You pull down and it's like that. And that I feel like has got to be really good for paddling.
It'll strengthen your lats.
Yeah, I'll just do it. I'll do it like this. People are like looking at me like, what? Like, dude, that's not how you're supposed to use it. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm not going to paddle into waves. like
Hey,
this.
sometimes you find yourself doing the double paddle at the last ditch effort.
Yeah, maybe.
You know?
I don't know. I'm
Butterfly.
Yeah, the last, and you're like, you think you're not going to get it, and you give it
the one big.
It does feel good if you get that like right on point.
Yup.
Um,
Sometimes if I'm like not going to catch a wave, or if I'm like on the cusp of catching it, and I've like used all the paddling I can. Used all the paddling like ground that I can. I'll be going to stand up and still kick.
I kick a lot.
Like I'll push my board down the face of the wave a little bit to maintain engagement in the moment, and then I'm kicking while I'm like I've caught the wave.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I kick like almost as long as I possibly can if I'm really scratching. Yeah.
That's interesting. I don't think I just feel like you'd get not like tiny bit of energy from that. So
That's
I just
all you
like
need.
don't even.
You need that tiny bit, dude, when you're
Yeah,
late
that's
under the
true.
lip.
Yeah. What I've been thinking about lately is because like I've been working out at my cousin's gym and Jim's gym and he like
Shout out, Jim.
Jim doesn't surf, but like he's in really good shape. He did a half Ironman last year.
Excuse me, I gotta use the restroom.
And he's my big cousin and he's like my older cousin. And he loves giving me shit. It's hilarious. Like, so I'll pick up light weights because again, my agenda is like lightweight, a lot of reps to try to simulate like paddling,
Right.
Or like if it's like a shoulder press or whatever the case. I don't try and load anything up because I also don't want more muscle because I want to be more able to paddle lighter on my feet. And he'll just like give me shit and be like, "Oh, that's all you're using. All right, dude."
Yeah.
Like, and so I've been trying to put like a little bit more weight and see what the result is. Because I'm sort of curious, like, is there like at what point is it too much weight? Because is there an advantage to doing more weight than what your natural paddling is, so that paddling then is easier than what you're used to, which is like even more weight than just your body weight in moving through water. And I did that all summer. I worked out with him, and I did feel like my paddling and my surfing was like better this year than it's been in the past with that. I mean, it's a lot of legs, a lot of squats, a lot of like all that stuff. And I do feel like I was stronger. I was a better paddler. And yeah, I mean...
Wait, did he give you like a routine of stuff to do? Or
no, well, it's like the gym is like... like HIIT classes. It's like almost CrossFit, but like not without like the really heavy lifting, powerlifting stuff.
Yeah, I would say that's like similar to what I do. It's just like my
just
own
body
rendition of my
body weight. Yeah, I mean, dude, you can get in insane shape. Satchel training for Navy SEALs did only body weight exercises. You can get in insane shape just doing body weight. That's honest. That might be what's best for surfing.
Probably.
Right?
Just high repetition.
You don't need muscle mass, that's for sure.
Yeah. Well, this is what I was saying was like, I don't like to do heavy weights, and I thought I would like bulk up, like the way you see like bulky people, like kids who are like trying to be meatheads just for the sake of like being big, even if it's not functional. Like for me, it's a means to being better at surfing. I don't like have any need to be like to appear bigger. And so I didn't want to do a lot of weight because I thought like I'll just get big and I'll be useless. But even adding like a good amount of weight onto my routines, I haven't gotten like bigger. I'm just like it almost like keeps the weight off because you burn a lot when you're weightlifting. It's counterintuitive, but I don't know. I mean, I think that is more like getting huge is more like supplements and shit, which I don't do. I don't like do protein shakes or anything like that.
I do
like normal stuff.
I do protein shakes every morning.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
I go to work
add
with
a little
protein shake.
plant
that's like,
protein.
That's like in lieu of breakfast, probably, right?
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
So that's like a meal, more of like a meal replacement. It's not like you're trying to get huge.
I mean, I think,
and you don't lift either. You don't work out.
No, I don't work out. I don't have any, like my strength is not the question. It's my, like I said,
diet.
Endurance.
It's my, well, I mean, it's a lot of things. It's my habits.
Darts.
Yeah, exactly. Just ripping darts.
Ripping so many darts.
For me, it's all about flexibility because like flexibility equals speed in like the athletic world, right? And like, but again, I think the biggest thing to focus on in surfing with working out is obviously like your cardio, because there's nothing worse than kicking out of like a decent wave, scratching back out to the lineup, and then being tired when a good one comes. Like that is the worst possible surfing situation you can be in, because because of your own lack of training, you are going to be late catching that wave. No question about it. If you are tired, itching back, scratching back out to the lineup, and the best wave of the day comes through, and you have any hesitation about your endurance when that wave comes, then you are already hesitant. You are already late, and it's just not going to work out good for you.
You also spend a lot of time just like prowling around the inside and like catching a lot of the smaller inside waves. I feel like I do that too. I mean, I'm hungry per this podcast, and that can happen even more so when you're doing that versus if you're one of those guys who just sits out the back and waits for the big good ones.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I do feel like this summer having like a pretty hard workout regimen and sticking to one thing. I mean, in the past I would do anything from like cycling to rowing to yoga to lifting
to not swimming.
Yeah. And
swimming sucks.
Yeah. Well, swimming's boring as hell, but, but I don't know that I benefited from that as much as like what I've been doing this summer, which is all one type of exercise, not one type, but like just high intensity, low weight, a lot of reps. Like if you just do one thing versus like trying to do yoga a lot, trying to do boxing. I was doing a lot of boxing. I don't know. Like my theory was like sort of like muscle confusion and just like do a little bit of everything and then you'll be good. But I kind of don't believe in that anymore.
Well, let's look at like what we see the top the top performers, I guess tour guys almost specifically. Like what do we see them doing? We see a lot of gymnastica.
Yeah.
Right. We see a lot of jujitsu.
Yeah, jiu-jitsu's big.
Yeah, our buddy, he does jiu-jitsu pretty seriously. I mean, he's a blue belt now, which I don't know where that really ranks, but he's advanced some since he started. And he says like, rolling around on the mat, grappling is like seriously conditioning work.
Yeah.
And I believe it. Like if you ever got in a
like
fist fight,
wrestling.
if you ever got in a fist fight or have wrestled in the last 20 years, if you're around the 30-year age mark, like if you've fought since you were 18 years old, like a fight that lasts 10 seconds is a long time and you're exhausted.
Yeah, dude. So I've done a little bit of jiu-jitsu. And
Yeah.
you do like rolls at the end, 3 minutes. I mean, usually do like 5, but 3 minutes.
And you're sucking wind.
Dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if you're just like laying on top of each other, like holding in one position, trying to break free.
Right.
That can
Gassed.
crush.
You're just gassed, just surviving.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, that's essentially what you're doing when you're surfing. So maybe that's why it's so translatable.
Yeah.
You know?
And the other thing I've heard from guys that like practice regularly is they say that they just feel more in tune with their body.
Sure.
They kind of understand their flexibility and their capabilities. Like, and I think when you're that in touch, you kind of, I don't know, maybe it translates into the board more so.
Right.
It's almost like a fast yoga. Like I definitely feel like when I'm doing a lot of yoga, it's one of those. It's like you're super in tune with your body, but it's not the best translation because everything's super relatively slow in yoga compared to surfing.
Right.
I mean, even the faster paced vinyasa stuff, it's like still way slower than surfing. I mean, I've never tried jujitsu, but I've done a good amount of like heavy bag boxing, and you are just
Anything
so
fighting
dead.
is exhausting.
Yeah,
Fighting's exhausting.
gassed, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't been doing as much cardio, which is kind of like, more like, again, like the CrossFit style stuff. It's like you get some cardio, but it's not the focal point of the workout.
You'd say Nathan Florence's routine, like what you see from him, is more like CrossFit, like almost more like towards like what you do with the gym
Yeah.
you go to, right? A lot of rowing machine and
I
Yeah.
don't know. His stuff seems pretty intense.
Yeah.
well, he like
It is,
does
yeah.
the 600-yard lunges and
but-
shit.
but you
That's
only do it-
crazy.
Heavyweight squats.
But that's the distinction, is that it's not like when I say it's not that much cardio, I mean, it's only like a minute at a time
It's
of
like
like
disguised.
rowing or assault bike. It's stuff like that assault bike. Like if you do that for like 2 minutes, that's like rolling. I would think like that's insanely hard. Like you're just moving your whole body all at once. Yeah. But you don't do it for that long, so it's not that much endurance building.
Yeah.
Endurance building to me is like running like 10 miles or like training for like an Ironman. Like that's endurance. Like just doing, and like that's cardio. That is going to be really good for your ability to just keep paddling forever.
What other interesting workouts do we see from top tier guys? I mean, I think that gymnastica stuff, it looks way interesting. Like,
What? I don't even know what that is.
You haven't seen that?
you haven't seen
No.
it?
John does it. Jordy does it. I think they all do.
Who's the guy? Kip Pellegro?
Yeah, Kid Peligro.
They're basically just like rolling around on the floor
Yeah.
and like stretching their hips.
Yeah, it's like a fast paced yoga.
Can you
kinda is
Can
what
you
it
find
looks
something
like.
to pull it up?
It's like fast paced yoga. Is
It is
what
like
it
fast
looks
paced
like.
yoga, a little bit more of explosive move, like even some more explosive things, like a push up in the
Finesse.
mix and here and there. And you know what's funny? You mentioned that about. I think that's a really good point, Tyler. The part of yoga, even if it's like a faster vinyasa like routine, surfing's a lot more fast twitch muscles than what that, even at its fastest, yoga can be. I think that's why gymnastica looks pretty interesting, because you are doing that stretch and body weight focus type working out. But then at the same time, it almost seems like the pace is more similar to the pace you'd apply doing maneuvers on a wave. You know, like it's not exactly lightning fast, which your surfing doesn't really require. But it's not like vinyasa where you're like slowly going into some pose.
It's like, it could be like a drawn out cutback, kind of like just staring at the camera.
Awkward pose.
Phil, were you able to pull up Gymnastica?
No, nothing.
It's GINASTICA.
I thought it was GYM.
No,
That's
it's
exactly how I
Gymnastica.
spelled it.
Yeah, I honestly made up
Gymnastica.
an alias based on this. James Nastica. And my friends can call me Gymnastica.
Oh, that's a dope picture. It's just two guys like hovering in the air. Is that what you do?
Jordy just released a clip on it. Just put a clip on Instagram yesterday. I think it was Jordy. I don't know.
Can we not hate on Jordy today?
It might have been WSL. He was wearing knee pads, dude.
Yeah, he was.
You know what they say about knee pads?
We just went there. The other cool thing, which there's this
All
guy.
right, wait, let's
Obviously
read.
running with
What
rocks
is
underwater.
Gymnastica. It's a complete full body weight training method with a 30-year research history which benefit your entire body and life, giving you physical qualities like strength, endurance, mobility, core stability, balance, flexibility, coordination simultaneously.
Sounds like a bit of a marketing
Yeah,
shtick.
it does sound like a.
I've looked it up.
Official.
I haven't been able to find a gymnastica gym.
Yeah.
Do you know anybody?
So this is out of Brazil, apparently.
Yeah, but that
Part of the storm.
But yeah, it's the North Shores, like where that guy Kid Pellegros seems to be. Like he's on the gram. But another cool one that's similar to this, but then works in more fast twitch stuff and like coordination, like hand-eye. Check out
Ping
this.
pong?
No, Google it. Ping pong. Google this. Shout out Rama, the chef at Kingfisher Resort. Best ping pong player I've ever seen. And best pool player and best chess player.
Is he
I've ever
Indonesian?
seen. Yeah.
Yeah, they're
He's Indian.
crafty.
IDO Portal.
Oh, you were telling me about this. Yeah.
It's Israeli. And Ito Portal.
Any
yeah.
surfers do this that you're aware of?
I think Conor McGregor was training with him.
And he rips.
Imagine
He just rips old men's heads apart.
Imagine if Conor McGregor had been a surfer. Like I feel like
Probably
it's
good.
right. Like who are some of the
Charging Mullagmore.
yeah? Like who are some of the Irish guys? Like there's that guy like Tom Lowe, right? I think he's Irish.
What
And
was
then
that awesome series that kid? Shoot.
Connor, is it Dwyer? Or
He went irrelevant. How did that happen? Because I bet you he's going to make a comeback because
Yeah, his website is super weird.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you go on his Instagram, if you go Instagram for Ido Portal, it's wild. I mean, it's like these finesse movements that are similar to Gymnastica, but then it'll be like using like a tennis ball and like hitting it off the wall and then off your elbow.
I like that.
And then like
It's like hockey goalie training.
It's very cool. I mean, it's impressive. It's almost like circus stuff.
With
But that I would think that like that with surfing would make you better surfer.
okay. So that's like I'm glad you bring this up because like never gonna be with you, comfort me.
This is a shoulder
Call
elbow
me
warm up
baby.
on cocaine.
That's what it says?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, man.
Just ripping,
Whoa, that's weird.
ripping pack doing shoulder workouts. What do you just do this?
Wait, what? That's his.
yeah, so
That's
it basically
his gram. That's weird.
Yeah.
I guess he's just making a joke.
Huh.
I mean, it seems like him and this gymnastica, natural gymnastics, that's what it means.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like a higher intensity form of gymnastics. Maybe, I don't know, it kind of seems like a marketed towards guys gymnastics.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
Well, so what I was going to say, like, and I think probably a good population of humans struggles with this about working out is that, like, you're almost like not entertained, right? Like, I loved playing sports as a kid. I loved doing anything that required me to, like, run around. I still do. I actually almost went and played badminton today if we weren't going to record. Like, I'm interested in Edo
Portal.
because
Yeah.
like I love to do things while I work out.
Yeah.
You know, like if I have a ball, if there's a ball like bouncing around like a million walls in a room and I
Yeah.
gotta like do like a burpee and then catch it and throw it again, like
Wall ball? You guys ever play wall ball?
we could play wall ball and do burpees in between. And to me, that would be more fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
100%.
Yeah.
we should just get a ball. We used to love doing this when we were kids, just making up games in small rooms with bouncy balls.
Yeah.
Like this room,
Sweetness.
this room would be sick for a real bouncy ball. And every time you throw it, it can only hit 3 walls in the time you have to do 1 burpee before it hits 3 walls.
We built a game in my basement called Sweetness. And we
Wait.
said that it was
I think I
sweet.
played this.
We told all
Maybe.
the parents that it was sweet tennis, but it was actually just sweaty penis. Because you'd get so sweaty playing it.
We built a net.
It was like ping pong meets like tennis meets pickleball. It pretty much was pickleball.
Pickleball.
But
In that
Indoors.
little
You know,
corner.
yeah.
You could use the wall.
Yeah,
Yes.
you've played it, Phil. Yeah, you can use the wall
Bo's
like squash.
super good, right?
Oh, Bo's incredible. I mean, Bo's the best natural athlete I've ever seen.
He's pretty
but,
raw.
but there's so the thing with working out versus playing like a fun sport, the only pro to working out and doing something boring is like it's supposed to just like build your mind.
Yeah,
Like
true.
doing something that's miserable over and over again is
Which
just
I
supposed to
hate.
make you just tough, like mentally
Yeah.
tough.
That's what I do at work every day. Just miserable shit over and over and over and over.
Yeah, well, like my dad has done a bunch of marathons, and like he did a half Ironman once, but he takes me to like sometimes we'll run and we'll go to the track, and he's like, it makes you stronger, and I'm like, I don't understand what you mean by it makes you stronger.
Mentally
Like,
tough.
like the track, the track is like kind of mushy. It seems like it's easier if anything, and like it took him. He's like, English is not his first language, so like he was kind of like, it makes you stronger, it makes you stronger. And I'm like, I don't get it. Like, is it, you use different muscles? And he's like, no, mentally. And I'm like, oh, okay, well that makes sense.
Well, why didn't you say so?
Yeah, like, but this guy who's a local Ironman who's crazy, like he had done. My dad was able to like pull up his like Strava or whatever the app was, and he had seen like this guy was there running that day. He had run 18 miles on the track. So that's just over and over again,
that's-
looping.
So boring.
Like that is
So
that is
boring.
insanely boring, and that's literally just about mental toughness.
It is.
Yeah.
So that's
Which is-
there's something to be said for that.
Yeah,
I
but
get
like
that.
it's miserable. I mean, don't
Yeah.
get me wrong. I wouldn't do that, and that's why generally all the working out that I do, and the reason I'm able to do it is because it's like in a class with like a couple other people, and like my big cousin like giving me shit or like motivating me. Like otherwise, I wouldn't do this stuff. Like if I was on my own, it's hard to get self motivated.
I would like to know if there was a gymnastica, if anybody offered that at any of the like gyms, like in the metropolitan area, I guess. You know, between here and
It's probably somewhere in New York at a jujitsu gym. I bet.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of the stuff I looked up, it's really connected to
Jiu-jitsu.
So
Yeah.
I'm sure if it doesn't, it's gonna exist soon.
call
All
to
right.
action, somebody take the gi off and like let's roll around doing gymnastica. Because I'd be excited to give that a go. I like that kind of thing where you're like doing push-ups and like
I think it's supplemental though. I don't know if it in and of itself
could be sustainable.
would get you in that good of shape.
Really, I don't know. That one Jordy was doing with the knee pads on looked pretty intense.
Yeah.
It was a lot of like full range of motion at a pretty quick pace. He's probably an expert. Jordy must be an expert gymnastica.
Gymnastic.
I'm speaking to the camera, and you are over there just distracted.
I'm looking at Eastern Surf Magazine's website because I was, I feel really out of the loop now. I've just this little bit of searching. I've found so many new surf media outlets that I otherwise hadn't paid attention to because they just had gone just full step. And now Eastern Surf Mag has cool stuff on it.
Yeah, that's good.
Good
That's
on
good
'em.
for our viewers and listeners to know. ESM is really good. I thought it disappeared, to be honest.
No, this is cool. I mean, it's got this big Brett Barley thing.
Wait, what did you said
check it out
this morning about Swell Info? Is it back?
Swell Info is back.
No way.
Thank you, Jack Murphy, for bringing that to my attention. And then after he told me yesterday, Phil, bring it up for our YouTube viewers.
Yeah, I'm throwing it up.
Well, no, maybe don't.
I'm not throwing it up.
Well, now.
So
They can't spell.
I got word about this on Thursday. I don't know how long prior to that it had been reactivated. And then I saw some Instagram screenshots. It's
Don't
back.
go to our break, Phil.
No,
go
I'm
somewhere
not.
else.
I'm
Okay.
not.
Jesus.
So that's breaking news. This just in.
This
Swell Info
just
is
in.
back. I don't know if the mobile app is up and running.
We are back. We are getting Doug back.
A giant swell coming.
Yeah, there's a bit of swell coming. Let's talk about that, boys. What's the
here
play?
that's a great
That's
thing to
great,
discuss
yeah.
because that talks about what we were gonna like the 4-3 thing, right?
Yeah.
Yes, there is swell coming. It's November. We always get a swell around Thanksgiving.
Yeah, we do.
So here it comes, marching in like a big old red bush on the grass.
I don't get it.
Yeah,
Just
so
looks like
I was
bush.
asking Drew. Actually, I posed a
rock.
question to all the guys. I have
Boys.
a shitty 4.3, but I was like, "Hey, this one swell.
Yeah.
It's that fringe in between
Every time of the
3.2
year.
to 5 mil.
Yeah.
Is it worth throwing the dough down to get a 4.3 for one swell?
So, all right, what is the water temperature? I understand it's
Well, according to Swell Info, it says 54 degrees,
Yeah.
4.3, and 3 mil boots
So,
and
right.
gloves.
I don't think you need gloves until it's 50. 49 is my
I'm gonna
threshold.
wear. I'm definitely gonna wear 5 mil boots and definitely 3 mil gloves.
Well, so Phil, right? You raise an excellent point that now
Excellent.
Eye contact.
this
Eye
is
contact.
this is like the prime time for that like need of a 4.3 millimeter wetsuit.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think it's 4.3. It's 4/3. Some of it's 4
just
mil.
got
Some of it's
0.3 millimeters. Yeah, no, you're right. It's
4.3 millimeters.
so the fourth. This is the conflict.
the perfect time.
It's the conflict.
Dude, but you also need a hood, I think, right now.
Yeah.
Like 40 and super
Well, that's
windy,
why I was
like,
also
fuck.
thinking about it, because I want to get one with a hood. I have like a shitty one without a hood.
Yeah.
Oh well, then you're in a
Get
great
one with a
position.
hood. But I got a 5 with a 5 mil.
Yeah,
with a
so
hoodie
it's like, do you want to just wear the 5 mil and put it back on wet?
for 1 week of surf. Maybe
Yeah.
maybe we get another one.
Randomly have 2 5 mils. I guess I just like at one point I didn't realize that I had one and I bought another one.
Classic tie.
Yeah.
So look, dude, there's like a 2-week period where you really need a 4 mil in your quiver of
Yeah.
wetsuits, and it's like this current week and next week. I guess you could stretch a 4 mil here till almost after Christmas.
Well, you also could have started using it like that day where you wore your 3.2.
The water was 62.
But the wind and the air was like 40 and it was pretty windy.
I mean, I was perfectly comfortable in the 2 mil.
Yeah.
So you don't really need it.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it kind of
It's like 3.2 hood.
it's 3.2 and a hood. It really
Yeah,
is.
that's
That's becoming a thing to have. Like to
Somebody
be
sponsor
maximize
us and
comfort.
make a 3.2 with a hood.
Dude, so I don't know. I had a 4 mil. I've had times when I've had a 4 mil and like I didn't have a 3 mil. And then I was like, shoot, I need a 3 mil. Again, we're in the best market to sell wetsuits in the entire world,
Yeah.
no doubt. And I think like if you're really, really serious about surfing, like,
Isn't Africa and Australia both have a lot of different climates for suits, though, right?
but the water
they're
temperatures
not
don't
as-
change
Yeah,
much.
it doesn't vary as much.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, we can have 40 degrees in a day of swing.
In
It's
air.
wild.
In air.
In air, yeah.
But the water over the course of the year
It's 40 degrees, 50 degrees probably.
can be 50 degrees.
From
It can be
80 to
32
30.
to 80.
Yeah.
Yeah, to 33 to 80.
That's so wrong.
Which is crazy because most surfers aren't even comfortable paddling out in 50 degree water. And we're 30 degrees or 20 degrees in either direction from 50 degrees.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty funny when you think of that.
So I mean, listen, like, do you need a 4 mil? No. But do you want one because it's more comfortable than wearing the 5 mil and it's warmer than wearing the 3 mil? Yeah. So here's your opportunity, wetsuit manufacturers. Like, this is the time to sell us a 4 mil. You know?
Christmas season.
Yeah. Because, I mean, the water stays relatively warm until Christmas. I guess you could get about a month and a half out of a 4 mil.
Yeah.
I thought hurricane season was over.
He used it. But again, that's one of those things. It's like, you're going to want a hood.
My thought is, and this is like, I can justify anything when it comes to spending money, but it's like,
On surfing.
yeah, it's like this
Well,
is.
except for flying anywhere to score.
Well,
Honestly.
that yeah, I just feel that's a different. I don't know what
Hypocrite.
that is, but that's just like it feels like throwing money out. Like if you're buying an expensive wetsuit, you're not throwing it out. Like
We
you-
had this conversation. Oh,
No.
sorry. I thought you were going to say the flights.
but like if this is I like surfing is in the top 2 things I care about in the world, which is like surfing and like my family. And if that means I'm gonna have to spend $200, $250 on a 4.3, and it's gonna be perfect for a month, a year, and then I'll have it for 4 or 5 years. Like, I think it's worth it.
That's true. You should be able to get quite a long time out of a wetsuit that you only use for like a month and a half. You should be able to get quite a few years out of it.
As long as you rinse it, yeah.
As long as the technology of it's good enough, you know, you're not going to wear out of it. It's not going to wear down on you if you only use it for that period of time. Yeah. Again, it's one of those things. It's nice to have. It's not totally necessary.
Yeah.
But there's some people, dude, who would be like, no, I just don't have a 3.2 and I don't have a 5 mil and I wear my 4 mil in lieu of wearing the 3 mil, and I just stop surfing when it gets to 5 mil season.
Yeah.
You know, and like Phil, like you tend to be gone by February when is like prime time to really need your 5 mil.
Yeah, that's why I thought also of getting a really good quality 4.3. 4.3
So
that
you
would
could
go deeper into the season.
Yeah, so you could wear it in December and you could wear it in late February, early March when it's still really cold.
And also bring it
For
Yeah.
short
South
sessions.
Africa, I would think.
So it's kind of like that 6'1". It's a 4 mil is kind of like having that travel board in your quiver.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's like that wetsuit that like isn't quite as restrictive as a 5 mil and not quite as easy going on your body as a 3 mil, and can kind of get you through both water temperatures.
Yeah, all seasons.
That actually brings me to something interesting that I found in Outside magazine.
This just in.
Calling it the fat suit. Surfers stay warmer with artificial blubber. Right? So
This real blubber.
This dude, Moran, is using chemicals. Wetsuits are being infused with, what did I say before? Xenon and krypton gas. Moran and his colleagues at MIT found that it is possible to replace those air pockets with inert gases. This, he says, results in wetsuits that are 40% thinner or have double or triple the insulating properties than the wetsuits we use today, which,
So sick.
you know, obviously let water in, your body temperature warms the water in the air pockets that hold the water in the wetsuits. I mean,
But imagine
that could be huge.
It's like we talked about earlier. Like everything is just about improving a little bit at a time until it's completely a different world. Like we talked about this with solar energy and how the photovoltaic what's it called? Panels are getting better and better, and you're able to absorb that much more energy. It's like if we can get to a place where a 3.2 is warm enough for the winter because like it's just got this crazy
Wouldn't that
blubber.
be nice?
Yeah, and then like we talked about how changing is the worst part, and 5 mils are so hard to get in and out of.
Dude.
If all you got to get in and out of in the winter is a 3.2, that's going to make it quicker, and it's just like the margins just get better and better, and just make everything. You know, we're going to turn around, and it's going to be like, all right, surfing the winter is
Yeah,
easy.
I would say almost.
But that's just going to make more people in the water.
It will be. But
Yeah, like
I
blaming
would
the
say
wetsuit
that
companies
changing,
again.
Getting
Yeah.
in and out of the 5 mil is the worst part. Not even the fact that it's cold and you have to get
Yeah.
changed, but it's actually trying to put on that straight jacket.
Yeah.
Not anymore with the host Stevie Surf Cloak.
Oh.
Yeah, so this is pretty cool. I mean, you said it well, Ty. It's to be able to be surfing with the restriction of just a 3 mil and surf in temperatures under 40 degrees.
Epic.
That's pretty nice for us who, you know, have year after year lugged 12 pounds of soaking wet rubber.
Sorry, Sam Hammer. Life is not better in a 5 mil.
Yeah, Sam, it's going to be better in a 3 mil like any minute now. But you know, this is pretty interesting too. They say that he's trying to find a pliable material that will trap the gases indefinitely. So I guess they're having issues keeping the xenon and krypton in the wetsuit. He says that
So your dick will turn green.
right, like that stuff's just leaking on you. I don't even know. I didn't even know that krypton was on the periodic table.
Yeah.
And then he's saying that
Because you know the periodic table like
kills
the back of your hand.
Superman,
I
right?
Yeah.
do. Yeah, like
Kryptonite.
it's like clearly more learned in like fiction from Superman that I thought it wasn't a real element.
That's kryptonite. I don't know. That's Krypton.
Well, he's from Krypton. Anyway, perhaps the stuff used in space blankets that marathoners wear after crossing the finish would be a good good technology to, keep the gases inside
Just
the wetsuit.
bright silver weddies everywhere. Everyone's like the silver surfer.
Progress, take it or leave it, right?
Is this the Onion?
A silver lining in the suit would not only prevent the gases from diffusing out, he says, but it would also reflect some of the thermal radiation produced by the diver or surfer back into the body. So you'd actually reflect thermal radiation back from the spacesuit into your skin.
Cancer.
Well, I don't think you can give yourself cancer.
We'll cure it in a few years.
Yeah, just
Ideally.
get cancer, serve 3 meals in the winter.
So maybe stand by and buying that 4 mil.
Hypothetical.
No, but
If you only had to wear 3 mil, but it meant by 50 you were getting cancer, would you do it?
No, but I smoke, so can't ask me.
So that's a
So I
yes.
think
from
that's a
Drew.
yes,
That's a
yeah.
yes. That counts as a yes
It
from
pretty
Drew.
much does.
Phil.
I'm 30.
Yeah, and you could surf all winter here in a 3
I'd
mil.
travel. Get out of here in winter anyway.
Yeah.
So fuck that.
I don't mind surfing in a
Dude,
5
at 50? Look at Cali.
Yeah, I hate surfing in a 5 mil. It's the
I do.
worst.
I mean, it sucks to get used to, but you know what? It's changing. Has a lot to do with it. Wetsuit technology is pretty good. My
getting
body,
better and
my
better.
5 mil body glove is quite cooperative, getting on and off. I don't have any problem with that. It is a little bit of a. There is like a little bit of a learning curve, or getting used to it again. But
I just literally feel like I need a new board, which is so frustrating.
yeah, well, you feel like you need a new board every 6 minutes.
This is true. Guilty. With the boards. Every time I see an ad for a new surfboard, I'm like there's what's his face? Mitch Colburn just showed like 2. It was like the Hot Knife, and then another one that was another chili that also looked sick. And I was just like, God damn it, I want both of those.
I'm glad we kind of brought this up. I wanted to retract. I don't know if I said anything that I disagree with my new state of mind about surfing alternative crafts.
I thought you were going somewhere with like Andy.
No, nothing with Andrew. I mean, I didn't say the waterboarding thing. You
Case
did.
of the stolen bunny chow.
Well, the bunny chow is now back at Andrew's house and with a fresh wax job, and he still has my single fin. So who's in the wrong now? Anyway, no. Anyway,
The drama continues. This is like Beach Grit now.
it is. This is just beach grit.
It's like, damn it, Chaz. You suck, Ashton. Give me my single fin
Don't
back.
say anything about my wife.
Don't you talk about my single fin.
So
We're going to fight now.
I think what is the most important thing about your choice in surfboard is like you try and pick whatever is most appropriate for what the waves allow. If you need, like, you can't just go and force riding a thruster performance shortboard if it doesn't work. It's not fun.
There's no push in the waves, you mean?
Yeah. Like, you just got to ride what's going to be most fun. And I think that's why the foamy revolution is happening. It's already happened, right?
Yeah.
So I just wanted to address that.
Yeah,
As
I
per
think
our
I
number
have
5 episode Quivercast. I kind of was like, yeah, I ride my single fin if I need to, but it's like sometimes you just might have more fun riding a board that is gonna be more fun.
Yeah.
And you kind of approach it with a mellower attitude. Like if you're not on some serious surf stick, right? If you're not on a shred stick, then like you almost start the session having more fun to begin with.
Well, that's why I also said like I'd rather have a fish for small days than be like properly gunned up for big days.
Yeah, so I'm going back to having fun and riding whatever the conditions allow, permit.
Just do fun stuff.
Do what's fun.
Yeah, I generally just get all around boards all the time. I can't make a decision. I'm just like, something I'll do a little bit of everything.
That's
Just surf what's fun and have fun. Before you even get a wave and you've got something fun under your arm, you're already in that mentality.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Let's do a shout out. We've got Dylan Cahill. Thank you, Dylan.
Yeah, Dylan
Sick logo.
hooking us up with the logo.
Check out
Giving you
Dylan.
guys a shot.
Check
on
out
YouTube.
Dylan's Instagram at Dylan Cahill. We just he's in our story. We appreciate the hard work. He came out with a really nice logo for us. As always, Wavetrotter app. The Wavetrotter app hooking us up with where to go, when to go there, and how much it's going to cost you to fly there.
Important stuff.
Seriously.
Lastly, Host Stevie, send me a goddamn parka.
Our guy, Host Stevie.
Philium and Drew got him.
Very excited to wear to use mine.
And like I said, I mean, I just don't. It's honestly, it's pretty unselfish. I don't want people to see my crack in my balls.
Yeah, nobody wants to see it, dude. Like you put the towel around your back and like I don't care if you're facing towards like your car, like towards the back seat. Like it's kind of like the wind. And I don't know. There's a very high percentage of like some like poor old lady walking down the boardwalk to just see
or a child. It's about the
child's scary.
Yeah.
Pet her ass. I think an old lady would be stoked, to be honest, but a kid, I mean.
Fair enough.
Oh, look at that young boy. He's quite well endowed.
Here. Do it again. Look at the camera. Whoa, would you look at that?
He's got a nice buttocks. All right. Thanks. Another episode successful. You. Backside tube.
Jesus.